In the last 2 months, Colombia has been in the international spotlight due to a social phenomenon called Paro nacional. This phenomenon started on April 28. The President Iván Duque passed a tax reform to the Congress that caused indignation because it increased the prices of basic basket, fuel, oil, and various taxes, adding the VAT of 29%, something that had not happened before in the recent history of the country. And the moment was the least appropriate, with an unhappy population that has been impoverished by the COVID-19 pandemic. On April 28, various social groups such as students, teachers, popular workers, bikers, or economic gals like truckers or farmers joined in demonstrations from small towns to the main cities. Bogotá, Cali, Medellin, and Cartagena had the most important concentrations, which were marked by policy views, cultural demonstrations, and a look at a country that was tired of corruption and took to the streets despite the pandemic. Previously, other protests just lasted one day, even two, but they lost popular support and all got normal again. In this case, the Paro nacional don't lose the popular support, it gets even stronger, and it can be explained by demonstration reasons that were very clear from the beginning, and it will not over until government don't negotiate a new tax reform. But in the next 5 days, President Duque withdrew the tax reform, and even Alberto Carrasquilla, Minister of Finance, resigned his church due to popular pressures. So, why did the protest take more than 2 months? Well, has been registered 75 deaths, 25 rapes, 1,649 arbitrary detentions, and more than 500 missings, summed to a riot of paramilitarism. It gets worse when we discovered that 90–80% of these crimes were committed by police, with various cases presented in Cali, that were a focus of police violence and popular violence.
Yes, the protests were accompanied by the most unpopular image of this institution from the last 30 years. Same with SMAT, that is the face of police abuse in the protest, using weapons like a venom, never seen before in war. And it is a weapons that look more like a war guns than an unrest containment element. And with different videos showing how members of SMAT use abuse of their power, hitting, kicking, and shooting people. That, in a normal process, must be just arrested for judging. You can also find videos that show how human rights defenders are being treated as criminals, being arrested or hated by public force members, and other videos where you will watch police members shooting their guns to unarmed protesters. One of the most impacted cases is the suicide of Alison Salazar, a 70-year-old teenager that accused two SMAT members in Popayán of the rape here in an URI, an installation of prosecution office for judicially detained people.
The paramilitarism has also taken an important spotlight in this demonstration. Common is to have their own firearms, shooting together with the police at protest. Andres Escobar, a coach who has been captured on video, firing a traumatic pistol. But the fact that is not a lethal weapon does mean that is innocent, because its shot caused terror among the protests at the time. like his cause. There are more, but not with traumatic guns, with real guns. A man caught with a rifle along with an unidentified illegal group who were caught on camera in the sunlight. Or the pulpit truck that shot to the Minga indígena and which borders weren't identified. They are called paramilitaries because public force has not taken action against anyone of the team. It is also true that not only the police have been cruel. The rape of a police officer, the death of the policeman in Suacha via Suns and stopping a robbery in the rights and uncorrecting looks in small towns. Anti-criminal groups that come close to increasing their power in place where the public force was withdrawn due to rioting, with a host of lockers that caused crises in place where at property increased with looks. Anti-criminal groups that come close to increasing their power in place where the public force was withdrawn due to rioting.
But this protest has not been only violence. We must remember that it is a big demonstration, not a war. And this is the moment where people unite against injustice and corruption. Protesters use cultural demonstrations, monuments, symbolic acts, and concentrations of people yelling for a change. At this moment, the people demonstrated that they wanted a change. The Uribismo lost force every day, and alternative movements also look alike in a country where any alternative solution was lost by violence. And this is the moment where Colombia can make a change for the younger people, which are those that are fighting looking for a better future.